the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
Sure enough.
Is it time to feel sorry for Dez? I don't know about that. It's time to wonder when something is going to happen for him. And here's what I do. I don't know if it's feeling sorry. It's just feeling a little confused. Seattle Seahawks are in the process, as DJ just told you, of signing Brandon Marshall to a one-year deal. It is I don't know if it's for the minimum salary. With incentives, it can get to $2 million, but it might be for only about $1 million. And he's played so long. He came into the league 2006. When did Dez come in? 2010? 9? 10? One of those.
Played 7 seasons, right?
8, isn't it?
8.
Regardless, Dez, a minimum deal, will be about $900,000, as Steve said before. So why does a team, if they did this, choose Brandon Marshall over Dez? Last year for the Giants, Brandon Marshall, 18 catches, 154 yards. That used to be an afternoon for him. In fact, he had a 21-catch game. 18 catches for 154 yards, 8.6 average. He was barely even involved. And that was in the first 5 games, and then he got hurt and was out the rest of the year. Why would you, if you're Seattle, Steve Dennis, why are you choosing Brandon Marshall when Dez is sitting out there?
Why not Dez? I don't have an answer. I mean, Brandon Marshall's doing TV already.
He's already Mr. Showtime.
Yeah.
He's already got a TV career going.
and Seattle signs him. That doesn't make sense to me, which is why I think this time when I ask the question, I think it really is time to feel sorry for. Nobody wants him.
Well, it seems that way, and Adam Schefter tweeted a little bit ago when he mentioned that Brandon Marshall contract, 1 year, that could get up to $2 million with incentives. He said this should set the market for Jeremy Maclin, Dez Bryant, and Eric Decker. I forgot Maclin is still out there, but Maclin's not much at this point. Decker, he'll get you a touchdown here or there, but he didn't do a lot a year ago.
The conversation has changed. See, if just by that paragraph that you just articulated.
Putting Dez in that same sentence.
He's now in the heap of guys that their careers behind them.
Right.
Decker, Maclin, Marshall.
Trying to get another last year or two.
Trying to get maybe one more year. See, when did Dez get into that pile? I mean, wasn't he in the pile that the Cowboys saved $12.5 million, whatever it was. What was it against the cap? $8.5 million? Okay. The Cowboys
saved 8.5 because you cut him.
Right. Saved money, and they just wanted to move on from him. And Dez thought that he would have 8-9 suitors in 2 days.
Turned down Baltimore.
And now all of a sudden we're talking about him like we're talking about Jeremy Maclin. I mean, Jeremy Maclin was okay, but he was never Dez Bryant. And Dez is only 29.
He was Dez Bryant for 1 year. As I look at Jeremy Maclin's stats, his last year in Philly, before he went to the Chiefs, 85 for 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's a quality Dez year. Now, here's what's interesting. Maclin had 1,000 yards with the Chiefs in 2015. Brandon Marshall had 1,000 yards with the Jets in 2015. Eric Decker had his last 1,000 yards with the Jets in 2015. All 3 of those guys, who to you and me, none of those guys seem like Dez at this point in their career. They've all had 1,000 yards more recently than Dez. How about that? I mean, that does matter. The Dez has gone 3 years. The Dez has gone 3 years without it, and other teams look at that, and teams know that receivers decline. They just don't come back from that usually.
Well, and Dez had 2 years of injury.
Right, but that doesn't really help him.
No, that's what I mean.
The fact,
yeah, I mean,
some people use that as an excuse. Well, he was hurt.
No, I think
he got hurt. That's not a good thing.
Man, I just think that the whole conversation has become so different with him. Those of us that thought it was the right move, you, me, cut Dez, it's time, make a good cap decision. It was definitely time. Mm-hmm. But did either one of us think that Dez would be scrambling to find a roster?
No.
I didn't either.
We thought he'd be scrambling to get with the team before the draft. Then we thought, well, he'll scramble to get with the team right after the draft and before OTAs get going.
And Dez has changed his tune because immediately, I want to go to an NFC East team. I want to go play with Beckham with the Giants because we're buddies and we work out together. Look, we're taking pictures together.
Yeah.
All that. Turned down $21 million to go to Baltimore for 3 years, and he was going to pick where he wanted to go.
Right.
Well, his tune has changed. Somebody asked him somehow, and over the weekend, and he tweeted the answer. A fan wanted to know which team would he play for, and he answered in one word, 49ers, and then quickly deleted it.
That was on his Instagram account, and then he took it down. Not sure why he'd take it down so quickly, unless he found out something that the 49ers weren't coming after him. 49ers got Garoppolo, so that'd be exciting. But they have Pierre Garçon. They have
They got
speedster Marquise Goodwin, who's a 5'9" guy, and they got they drafted another relative of Gary Pettis. There's always a Pettis coming out of
Washington,
somewhere out of the West to play for someone.
Goodwin had a good year last year. Really came on strong, but you can't think Pierre Garçon is considerably older than Dez. You can't think that with Garoppolo now, their quarterback, they're going to be happy with a rookie and Pettis.
They just paid Garoppolo billions. You'd think they'd want to have the best they could find around him. And, I mean, they're pretty limited at receiver.
You know, one of the things that we talked about when it was imminent, at least in our minds, that the Cowboys were going to cut Dez, was what kind of word of mouth would the Cowboys coaches and whatnot give other teams that called? I think we've gotten our answer on that. I mean, and maybe even teammates too, because this is the way the NFL works.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, happy Tuesday. We got Monday out of the way. Everybody was off yesterday. I hope you had a happy Memorial Day with you and your family and everything. So we got 2 down, 3 to go. We kind of had an advantage because we had Monday off, so it's already Tuesday, about to be Wednesday. Man, almost the weekend time. See, that's what I work for, man. I work for the Fridays. I work for the weekend. I work to get off. When I go to work, I work to see how fast I can get back off. See, that's my philosophy on work, man. You work for the weekend. That's the bottom line. If you don't go by that philosophy, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, guys, what you just heard was the local 103.3 ESPN radio guys talking about Dez Bryant. Should we feel sorry for him? Yada yada yada. I wouldn't go into that extent to say, oh, I feel sorry for Dez, because eventually somebody's going to sign him. Eventually, the question is who. Dez Bryant's a grown man. I can't really feel sorry for a grown man that's rich. So I did feel bad for him when the Dallas Cowboys fired him. They didn't cut him; they fired him. We all know it was a money situation. They wanted him to take a pay cut. Dez said they never offered the pay cut, towards his way, and we'll never know the true story about that. Dallas Cowboys are known for throwing people under the bus, not taking the blame for things. I think in this case, the Dallas Cowboys kind of screwed Dez Bryant as far as his release. Throwing him under the bus, making him seem like he was this big bad wolf. And Dez Bryant, we all know he's a passionate, fiery, receiver, guy that wants to win, loves, eats, sleeps, breathes football. Sometimes he was a little too passionate at times, throwing Gatorade cans and all that stuff, and cussing out people in the locker room. Okay, that's a passionate guy. He wasn't the first, and he's not the last guy that's going to be like that. I think the Dallas Cowboys just couldn't handle him, and he became, as far as our whack-ass coaching staff is concerned, they didn't know how to handle him. They didn't know how to deal with him. They didn't know how to adjust to him. So, bad timing for Dez, too, as well. He got the big contract back in 2014, 15, whenever that was. He earned every penny of it. He didn't hold a gun to their head or whatever. They gave him the contract. We had an awesome 2014 season. Obviously, we didn't go make the Super Bowl or whatever. And then he got hurt. He wasn't really the same for 2 seasons. Really wasn't the same since. But he's still able to get in the end zone and still be the Dallas Cowboys leading touchdown in receptions. He passed Bullet Bob Hayes this past season with 73 or something like that. So he was still, you know, making plays and getting in the end zone. So he had to been doing something right to get that milestone. But anyway, now Dez Bryant was offered the Baltimore job. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was 3 years, $7 million a year, something like that. Don't hold me to that because I don't remember. He didn't do it, so it doesn't really matter. I think he should have took that job. I made a video about this a couple of weeks ago about that, man. I think he should have went ahead just so he'll have a job, you know, and be employed and be a football player again for a team, be a part of an organization. He probably should have took that job, but he was kind of being picky. And I think, that just like they said, I think he thought that all these teams were going to be coming at him. Hey, man, come sign with us. And he was going to be able to pick and choose. And that's not happening. So now, you know, time has accumulated. And, you know, we heard Green Bay from Jason Witten. And we heard they said he wanted to play for the NFC East team so he can play the Dallas Cowboys twice. Then they tweeted, I think he had a tweet a couple of days ago where somebody said, oh, they asked him, who would you want to play for? And he said, the 49ers. Then it was on there, then he took it down and yada, yada, yada. So who knows, man? I can't say I feel sorry for him, but I just wish he would have took that Baltimore job, man, just so he'll be employed because he's got to eat, got to feed. I don't know if he has a family or whatever, but got to feed his family or whatever. And I think the next gig that's offered, I think he better take it. So, you know, he can be playing the sport that he loves. You know, he's a human being. So, but that's all I pretty much got, guys. I can't say I really feel sorry for him, but I just, you know, wish he woulda, you know. But make sure you stay cowboyed up because you never know what the day is going to bring you. Holla back at your boy. I'm out.
And the only thing else I got to say is,